This is Joyce Polino Crane. I'm the news director at WestfordCAT, and I'm here today with the owner of the Westford Subway Sandwich Shop, John Ramthun, and he and I are going to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a business owner at the Westford Valley Marketplace these days. Welcome, John.
Oh, thanks for having me, Joyce. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, John, you bought the Subway shop a while ago. How long have you been owner of that shop?
So the beginning of November will be 3 years. So we're in our 36th month right now of business here. I bought it. I'm the third owner in this location, and next year we'll be in business for about 10 years as a whole for Subway being here in the plaza.
Wow, I didn't realize it had been 3 years since you had arrived. I know that we touched base when you were new, and you tried to get a story written at that time, and I was sort of busy and never got around to it. But here I'm making it up to you, I hope.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
So, is it called the Subway Sandwich Shop, or what is its official name? Just Subway?
Just Subway, but it's known as like a Subway submarine sandwiches or subs. We also do wraps and some pizzas.
Oh yeah, I know, because I'm a client. I go in there when I'm hungry. I look for a Subway. So, what did you do before doing?
So before this, I worked for Lockheed Martin just right down the road at 16 Maple Road. They're about a mile and a half from my shop right now, and I did that for about 7 years. I worked all over. I started out right after I got my MBA, and I started out in their contracts department, overseeing regulations and demands that were needed upon the contracts that we had. And then I took a position and I went down as a floor supervisor, so manufacturing the floor, doing the operations down on the floor. I'm working with budgets, scheduling. I did that for a couple of years, and then I went up and worked in their production control department and basically oversaw making sure that we have enough parts in order to continue building the contracts that we have. So the total time I was there was about 7 years. And somewhere along my last year there, I have always had this itch to be a business owner. And I really love the retail space. Actually, before I worked at Lockheed Martin, I worked for Sherwin-Williams. And in their paint stores group, I started out in their MTP, or their manager training program. And I was working in El Paso, Texas, the Four Corners area in New Mexico. I spent 4 years in Honolulu, Hawaii. I spent 2 years in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I was getting my MBA in Milwaukee. And then we ended up, my wife and I, we took this job and we moved out here in the fall of 2011. And a funny story about that is, so we moved out here. We were newly married in the beginning of January. My wife is 8 months pregnant, and we've been separated kind of back and forth for about a month because I was working out here. She was trying to close up our apartment and finalize some things. And we come here. We're here for a week. I found an apartment, and we had that huge, massive snowstorm in Halloween. Do you remember that? It took out all the power. She's home alone, and we were expecting our first child. She's like, "Where did you move me?" And so that was kind of our first whole story. But from that point on, we've just grown to love the area.
Oh, it's such a wonderful state, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire being just right there, for hiking and swimming and whatever. It's canoeing. It's just wonderful.
Definitely.
So, how did you make the switch from such a high-level background to owning your own sandwich shop?
So like I said, I've always had this burning itch inside to try to do something. And I've had ideas all over the place. And Subway's always been one that comes back to the top of my mind. And even you can ask my wife, as long as we've been together, I've always said, "Hey, there's a Subway. I think I could do this." And she's always like, "Just stop talking," right? I'm like, "I think I could improve it by doing this, and I could, do this." And she was like, so when it came around to it and I started really looking into it and figuring out how we can finance it and go for it, she was like, I think it's fine. I trust you and your judgment, and let's go for it. And as I was talking to other people about it, and they've always asked me questions, same thing that you just did about it, about like, well, I've just had, there's so much sometimes negativity that comes along with it whenever you make a large change in your life, because people just don't understand. I don't think people are trying to be negative at all. They just don't really understand, and they're just trying to come to an understanding. But, I just thought in my head, I said, when's the best time to make a move like this? Is it 35 years old, 45, 55, 65? How about when I'm dead? Is that the best time to start a business? And so you can't take away, I left on good terms on all the jobs I had. I had an educational background. I keep in touch with a lot of people at all the places I've worked at. So it's like I can always go back and work at other jobs, and I can always network and find another job. But, I have to try this out, and I've got to see what it's like. And Subway's just been a really supportive brand, and they had a great training program that they put franchisees in, and they really try to make you successful. And I said, that's something I need to be part of.
Did they require, I guess the previous owner one day was talking with me and telling me they were going to have to remodel inside.
Yeah.
Did they require you to do that and pay for that?
So I have a remodel coming up. I knew that when I purchased it, that there was going to be a remodel coming up. The new remodel is fantastic. And I'm just working through a couple other things first, and then I'm going to remodel the space as quickly as I can after that. Like, it really is sharp looking. It's innovative. It's new. It's fresh. It doesn't look like anything you've ever seen. I mean, you can go online and just Google the fresh forward remodel designs from Subway, and they look really sharp. And I'm excited for it. It's time. It's been 10 years almost in this business, and you can think about anything in your life, like a car that's 10 years old, and you look at the same car, the same model, but on the lot, it looks completely different. And I think the public is really going to enjoy it, and it's going to help, just build some brand awareness and some excitement around our brand.
And so you must have to put aside money for things that
Exactly. It's budgeting all the time. And things break down just like at your house or your car all the time. You have to set aside the money for it, and you've got to kind of have the stomach for it, and knowing that it's coming. Right? Yeah. Every day when you wake up, if you get a phone call or you come in and a piece of equipment doesn't work, you can't let that bury you. To me, I love the excitement. I really do. And I like overcoming challenges and moving forward. And the biggest thing I do is try to keep the operations to the customer as smooth as possible, no matter what's going on in the background. The public and the Westford community deserve it. They've been really supportive of us, especially the past, 8 months now, 6 months. It's so hard to count the months at this point, but they come in, they ask us all the time. They know my staff by name. They're just really excited we're here, and we're excited to serve them.
So what was your undergraduate degree in?
So I got a bachelor's of business administration.
Oh.
And then I followed that up with an MBA 7 years later.
Yeah. So you've got that whole magical thinking in your head.
I try. I've got a good staff. They really follow my ideas, and they see the vision that I have laid forward for them, and they just get excited to work. I tell people all the time when I hire them, I said, listen, you're going to be here a lot. You're probably, especially if you work more towards full time, you're going to be here and see us more than you see your own chosen family. And so let's make this job as enjoyable as possible, and let's learn as much as possible. I'm not hiring you to be the best sandwich Subway employee that has ever lived the earth. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to help people grow to become better humans and contribute back to society. And, everything we do, I try to apply it to what you're going to do in your own life. I've got a lot of students in my staff, both in high school and college. And I just try to explain to them, here's why we contact catering customers before we make the delivery. Here's why we do follow-up afterwards. And here's how this is going to apply during your current schooling now. You want to talk with your professors all the time, and you want to make sure that they know you and that you're trying your hardest.
And how old are you?
37.
Okay. So you're in a good spot, I would imagine.
Yeah.
How many employees do you have there?
Currently, I've got 10 employees. And then during the summertime, we peak up to around 20 because the volume of the sales goes up.
Yeah. So what are the hours that you're open?
So we're open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And Sunday we're open at 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Wow. And do you see a lot of foot traffic these days?
Yeah, we do. Uh, it depends. We're a little slower in the morning and in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And in the morning, we do a fresh egg omelet program. So we actually make fresh omelets on a skillet right in front of your face with fresh cracked scrambled eggs. We saute all the vegetables for you, put the meat in there that you want. Typically, people put it on a flatbread,
Mm-hmm.
but we can put it on just the regular sub rolls also. And it's just an exciting thing that we do. I mean, not only is no other Subway doing it, but you hardly ever see somebody in an open kitchen design making breakfast for you right in front of your face.
Very nice. So you're the only ones doing that. This is
Uh,
your.
so we're the only one in the area doing it.
Mhm.
It is an approved Subway program. It's not something I made up. But
Um,
I'm the master of stealing ideas. Like I say, I don't feel I'm the most creative person in the world, but I constantly dig and network. And all I'm doing is I call it panning for gold. I'm looking for a tiny sliver of gold, and I'm going to put all that gold together. And I'm going to make a big bullion out of it. And so I'm just going to continue sifting and sifting and sifting. And this program is, I met a franchisee early on when I purchased the Subway, and he was like, you've got to get this, you've got to get this, you've got to get this. And so we worked hard, and we got all the equipment we needed for it. We got all the approvals from Subway, and we started the program, and we've just been running with it ever since for over a year now.
wow. So do you like it? Do you like what this this responsibility and the job itself?
I love it. I guess you could say I'm a glutton for punishment, but no, it's good. You just can't get overwhelmed about things. Like I said, there's a lot of things that come at you all the time, and that's even in your home life, right? Like you come home, your fridge stops working, or somebody, I got kids that need help with homework. My wife's got a meeting she needs to go to because she works also, and so we're constantly doing this juggling act, and you mix the store in it too. But communication is key in anything, and I communicate with my staff all the time for as much information. It's over a bit of information. We have whiteboards. You can see one behind me with a quote on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 or 4 other ones around the store. We put customer compliments on one. We have a huge calendar, a whiteboard calendar. We write all the catering orders out that are on there, anything special that's coming up for us, any donations, any fundraising that we're doing to support the community. And we just try to continue from there. It is, it's not for the faint of heart. I can tell you that right now. I know a lot of people who are small business owners, friends who've started out and changed careers kind of like I did. I know people who've, like when I was in the painting industry, a lot of mom and pop paint shops. I did deal with CertaPro Painters, which is a franchise. So I kind of got to see the franchise model and what they get to offer. But I just love it. I get up every morning and I've got so much energy and zeal. My staff comes in and they're just like, I don't understand how you do it. And I said, well, I'm a little bit nuts. What can I say?
So what interested me in talking to you, and I hope to talk to other storefront owners at the Westford Valley Marketplace, is that the Westford Valley Marketplace has a lot of empty storefronts. And so I was wondering, what's your take on that? Does that concern you?
It doesn't. I think they've got a great management company and an ownership group that really work hard. I know that I've worked with them with different things, and they're really supportive. I mean, I send them emails like the property manager, and they get to it right away if we have any issues on the premises. Just always keep an eye out. They did remodel the entire storefront 2 years ago during the summer. And that was kind of your first summer in business. That's hard to do. I mean, you're up and running and you have no signage in the front. You've got scaffolding out front, and we did everything we could with balloons outside, getting some banners tied to my van and put that near the corner on the street just to try to drive traffic in. I have a subman costume that one of my employees was out on the street wearing. And, we just want to know that people to know that we're here. And we like doing over the top guerrilla marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And, as for the Valley Marketplace, I mean, they're at, square footage wise, they're over 80, like almost 85% occupancy right now. Now there are some larger spaces that I think from their standpoint might be harder to fill.
Yeah.
We do have some new exciting stuff that happened. I mean, just in the time I've been here, the Anton's Cleaners built a whole new space where they actually got more equipment to take on more work.
Yes.
They got a steam press and they moved over on our side. It was just like three storefronts down. And in that time frame, that allowed Karma to then last summer do a full remodel and expand their footprint into that space, which I think helped them out because they didn't have to move.
Right.
We have a Coco Nails that came in, and the owner, Layla, is just fantastic. She's just been a real support. I know on the other side of the building, Compassion Massage went in last year or the year before last year, right at the end of the year. And then we just had Kaplan Learning Center open up also. So, I mean, they're really working hard to try to get the space filled and just to be the exclusive or, a premier place. You got Cornerstone right across the street, which is where the Market Basket went. And
Right.
one of the things that really interested me, and this is before I even purchased the place, when the Market Basket moved, I was saying in my head, I go, this plaza is done. Like every place in there is going to die. Like it's over. Like just who are you going to get to replace the Market Basket in New England? They are New England, right? You can bring in a Shaw's, you can bring in another national brand, but like people love the Market Basket. And then to tie into that, they had a complete walkout on a non-union crew. I'm like, they had an ownership change because of that. You don't have that type of buy-in. I mean, that is a MIT, Harvard business case study for years to come. And
Yes, it is. Yes, you're right.
and this ownership group ended up securing this Whole Foods and put them in there. And I think that is the, kind of a turning point when you think of like how a brand grows, their own brand, but like how the marketplace grows. But you're talking about a huge footprint where people had to go different places. I mean, I don't even think the one in Nashua was open at the time. I think you had to go down to like Waltham to get a Whole Foods.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember anymore.
And then,
But
I mean,
yeah, I don't think it was nearby.
no, and then Amazon bought them out. I mean, it's looked so good for us. And I'm just excited to be in this plaza. I really am. I mean, you got, from a owner standpoint, you've got ample parking, easy in and out access, direct highway access, which we have highway signs on. That was something I worked with the DOT to get put up.
Oh, good. So you got your subway signs up there somewhere?
Yeah. And I mean, it's a whole process you have to go through. You've got to be ADA compliant bathrooms. You've got to have an inspection from the building department. You have to have, customers have to have access to a phone in case an emergency happens. So there's a lot that goes into it. And then you have to go out and procure the signs, send them to the DOT, get them installed. All that costs non-recurring expenses. But from then on, you're good to go. You just pay your annual fees to the DOT.
Wow, so much to think of. Who's your competitor there?
So, from a sandwich standpoint, there's no like direct competitor. When we first moved in, we did have D'Angelo's across the street who did, hot sandwiches right on the grill, a little bit different than what we're doing, but they're a direct competitor. But I mean, anybody in the quick service space, casual fast dining, we've got Chipotle next door, who's been a great asset to us. Just being next door, they're a great company. They drive a lot of traffic in. Across the street, Mr. Max came into business last year. You've got Five Guys, McDonald's. So we really have, a lot of great competition around us, which in my mind, all that competition helps drive traffic to the area.
So Chipotle being a few doors down from you, not concerned about that?
I'm not. I mean, we've been here 3 years. We've grown the business tremendously over that time frame. I mean, we've surviving in a pandemic right now where we're watching people shutter their doors in great numbers. I mean, not only locally, but across the nation. It's scary to watch.
And yet you've got how many, 20 employees there?
Right now I've got 10, so we're kind of going down to our slower season, plus some people are taking on like more hours, so I don't need as many employees. I mean, it's hard during vacation time because everyone wants to take like a week off here, so you need to pad that by having more employees to cover those shifts.
So what, we're going to wrap up in a minute, but what's, if there's a lesson to be learned here, can you share for someone else who might want to, someday start their own business?
Yeah, I think the first and foremost is you've got to be your biggest cheerleader, and you have to believe it 100%. Like even if there's other people around you that are are negative per se. They may be cautiously, and they may be family that really worried about your future financially, or, you know, your mental health doing something like this. But I think you have to do it. And then you have to surround yourself with a team. You've got to have 100 cheerleaders. You got to be part of a cheerleading team, and you got to build a championship cheerleading team. And you've got to have people that you can call to bounce ideas off of. And when you have a rough day, you have somebody you can pick up a call and just literally vent and just get it off your chest. And they're going to be supportive of you, and not like, oh no, he's calling me again. They're going to be excited to hear what happened during the day, because you also call them when things are really good. And you also say like, oh my gosh, you'll never imagine what happened here. You know, you're motivating them, they're motivating you. I think you have to have the mental support of other people around you. I think that's often overlooked, is just how much you really need support from others. And you want to go out and set that up. You can't sit back and wait for that to happen to you. You have to kind of establish some good friendships and go out and get that, because this is not, like I said, it's not for the faint of heart. Things go wrong all the time in life, right? Like, it's entropy. If you don't work at something, it always starts breaking down. It's one of my favorite like quotes I think about. Like, you have to work at everything, right? Like, if you're going to the gym all the time and then you stop going to the gym, but nothing changes, your diet doesn't change, like, your muscle tone is going to start coming down. And it's the same thing. You have a mental muscle tone. Your business has a muscle tone to it, and you've got to continue working at it every day. And you have to understand that, like, if I go to the gym every day, I may blow my shoulder out, but I'm not going to give up. I'll probably have surgery, and I'll keep working my legs. And, you know, you're going to keep moving on in life during those things, but you're just not going to give up on it. So I think the biggest thing is find yourself a cheerleading support group and go for it. I mean, there are so many amazing people that I know that have brilliant ideas, and your first one may not be a home run. And you just got to keep working at it. You just got to keep pushing and pushing. And you may realize that the first step you take maybe isn't for you. But if you have an idea and you really have a passion for it, I think go for it. And just, you've got to be the biggest champion on it.
Good advice. Sounds like it sounds like you've got a great future. Do you see, since you're an MBA, have you done the financial projections? Do you see, sort of a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of you being able to take a step back and let other people run the business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one thing I do to my staff is I always teach them, like, we're trying to build you to the next level. My job as a coach. I always compared Tom Brady. I know he's left, but everybody still understands what he's done here. And I said, Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. Whether you like him, hate him, you have to understand that he is. And he has coaches for everything. He's got a coach for sleeping. He's got a coach for dieting. He's got a coach for stress, mental health. He's got a coach on how to throw the ball, how to run it, what to look for vision on the field, how to look at film. So like I tell my staff, like, I am the coach, and you will have other coaches in your life that try to raise you to the next level. So my goal, I'm getting out of the store is, back to your first question, like financial projections and things that we do that people don't see on an everyday basis, is that we do catering, and we're a massive catering house for a Subway. We
When
deliver.
did that start? Because I never knew you catered.
Yeah, so Subway's always catered. It's always kind of been on the radar, under the radar.
Yeah.
And
I saw your display inside the store, and I thought, oh my God, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm going to have a party now.
yeah, and we do these box lunches. Do a lot of like business to business box lunches. And so it's most of the time it's a 6-inch sub, but some people have now been ordering foot-long subs. So it's a foot-long sub, chips. You get a cookie with it. You get all your condiments. So you get mayo and mustard with it, and napkins. We put them in a box, and we just drop them off to your site, and we just let your staff easy. And this couldn't be better than it is right now in this COVID-19, because you don't want people breathing on the current platter sandwiches, right? So when we deliver platters right now, we wrap them all individually. So we make shifts to our business and what we do, because we want to show the people that we care for them. I mean, safety is our utmost concern in anything. And that's why we temp food. It's why we don't let expired product go out to the customer. Like, we are really big on food safety.
Yeah.
That goes outside the store also when we deliver things. But yeah, so we do a couple things for catering. So we do business to business catering. A lot of that is box lunches. We also do some platters. Also, we individually wrap those also and give some individual chips with them. We can do drinks with that also. We do fundraising efforts also. So we've worked with Stony Brook Middle School, their theater program the past couple of years. In November, this year's going to be a little different, but every November when they do their program there, we help fundraise for them. So during one of the nights, they order food from us, and they do it to some other vendors too. And so what happens is, we charge them $6 for those, and we give $1 back. And then they ended up using us for the one-act plays they did, not last year because of COVID-19, but the year before in the spring in 2019. And they did the same thing. So we gave them all the forms that they needed, and they had all the other middle schools that were there order from them, and we donated all that money back to them. We've also approached all the PTO programs in the area for all the elementary schools and all the middle schools. We work with the WA Boosters Club, and we've done their basketball fundraiser that they do every year with the New England Patriots All-Star Game. With the WA sports teams too. We do like to-go meals, just like the box lunches, but we'll kind of customize it to whatever they want. So if they just want 50 sandwiches, 6-inch, we'll make them for them. Somebody picks them up, puts them on the bus, they go to the away game, and they've got the food when they get off. And they can get home and get back to their studies when they get here. So we're really doing some innovative things in the marketplace to try to get the name out there and to realize what we do. I've catered as far away as Milford, Mass, to an Amazon warehouse down there. That's 50 miles away. I've gone to Amesbury and Salisbury, 50 miles in the opposite direction down 495. So, we really have a large swath, but our main focus is here in Westford, the community that we have around us, really supporting them, because at the end of the day, they support us.
Wonderful. I do want to clarify, when I said I'd love to have a party, that would be a party with a small number of people outdoors and socially distanced.
Hey, I'm totally with you.
Well, it's been a real pleasure and joy to speak with you today, John. Before we close, and I was wondering if you have anything that you want Westford people to know about the services you offer.
Yeah, I think I've covered a lot of them. We do the breakfast program in the morning up until 11 a.m. So we do fresh eggs up until 11 a.m. right in a skillet right in front of your face. So you get to enjoy the process and kind of smell everything as it comes off of it. The onions and green peppers are really good. Spinach is in there. Steak, bacon, or ham, whatever you would like on there.
How do you keep the food fresh? Because you've got a whole display of chopped vegetables, olives, whatever, in front of you, and is that like getting done every single day?
Every day, sometimes multiple times a day, depending on if it gets busier than we expected it to be. We run, like you said, I'm a numbers guy, and I like data. And so we take the data. What does a Monday look like versus Monday last week versus the past 6 weeks? As compared to a Friday, you don't want to make Monday food for a Friday. And you rotate through your stock, and you try to keep your front line clean by rotating through it. And, you do have a little bit of downtime here and there that you can work and prep more food, but you want to get through your big peak periods. For us is lunch. And that's our busiest time. Last year, the year before, we saw a lot more traffic during lunch because you did have businesses in the area and everybody's working from home right now. But you've replaced that now with everybody working from home in the community who purchased from you maybe in the nights or the weekends, and they still have you top of the mind to get some fresh food to continue through their day. So, that's one thing to do.
Does it get delivered to your door, or do you have to go get it? I mean, how does the food get to your store?
So we have a distributor, and all Subways have the same distributor, at least in the area that I'm in. So you just order through our ordering system, and the delivery truck comes and just drops it off to you. For me, I try to make it easy on my delivery service and easy on myself. So I do a key drop. So I give them a key to my store. They drop it off at 4:30 in the morning on my delivery day. So when I come in the morning, it's already here.
Oh, wow.
And so then I just go ahead and put it away and continue on my day from there. But yeah, that's the nice thing about being in a franchise, is that you have everything already established, where you're buying an established product. What you do with that is your own, right? Like your own local store marketing and how you interact with your community. But that's one thing I love about the franchise model. There are pros and cons to it, right? Like one of the biggest cons that I hear from anybody is saying that, oh, but don't you have to pay royalties? Doesn't that get expensive over time? I'm like, but I I trust the brand, and I don't mind contributing those royalties so they can hire great talent to bring in new innovative product and,
Mhm.
you know, really come up with some creative, great looking remodels and redesigns. I mean, like, we're not the only one in the industry doing it. Wendy's is plowing through redesigns right now, and they look fantastic. And so does Burger King right now. And you see McDonald's. I mean, there's one in Townsend. I've seen remodel, at least the interior. They did a full remodel probably 5 years ago, and they just did another remodel a month ago in the interior. So, you know, people
Wow.
are staying ahead of the game and what they do. And you're looking at a lot more online ordering now, platforms for online ordering. People can go to subway.com and order. We have a lot of third-party delivery through DoorDash, Postmates, and Grubhub in the area. So it's really what you have to do to stay on top of things and to keep things fresh. You've got to keep it fresh, looking at the customer. One thing I teach my staff is always go around the outside of the sandwich unit, be on the other side where the customer is, where you would be, Joyce, and take a look at things and see how it goes. You know, see what the customer sees, because we see a different perspective, right? You're seeing it, you go take a 180 flip to go to the other side, you see something different, and seeing things in a different light really helps you grow.
Good point. Good point. Well, thank you very much. Um, and I'll see you when I go in there for another sandwich. So I'm going to wrap it up here for Westford Cat News. This is Joyce Polino Crane.